Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper. I've just got a very quick video for you today showing you how one of the paper pumpkin cards goes together. I will be showing you a couple of them. I'm not going to bother showing you all three. There are millions of videos on YouTube showing you how to put the paper pumpkin cards together as they came. This is the April kit, and I am going to be making you this one today. There will be one other one I will do a video of, but the whole point of this is to show you how it goes together and then show you an alternative version. Okay, so the paper pumpkin kit actually makes 9 cards, but when it comes to my card supplies I am very tight, frugal. So I like to make them go a little bit further. So what I've actually done, this card base, or all the card bases that come in the paper pumpkin kits, are double-sided. So the front and the back are both decorated and the insides are white. So what I've done is I've cut a, they're also slightly different size to UK cards. So if you're going to do this, you have to know that I'm in the UK and I'm cutting it down to fit a C6 card front, which I believe they also have in Australia. I'm not sure about Canada, but anyway, in the UK we have A4 and half of an A4 is a C6. So I've gone ahead and I've cut a thick basic white, because our normal basic white is not quite meaty enough to make a decent card with, and I've scored it at 10.5, cut in half the A4 sheet at 14.8, scored at 10.5, and I've given it a good burnish. So with half, so this card base here is the plank, sort of this birch plank, front and back. So I've chopped it in half, but I have then cut it down. They are actually 14 centimeters in length, but they were wider. That's the bit I've chopped off. So you can see that wouldn't fit on a C6 card. So I've cut this down to 9.5, and I'm going to stick that on with some liquid glue to the front of our cardstock. So obviously ordinarily you wouldn't be needing to stick this anywhere if you decided to make the card as it comes in the paper pumpkin box. So I find it easier to get my card layers in the right place if it's not bouncing around all over the show. Right, so there we go. So that piece there that we've chopped off is redundant. So I'm not going to throw it away because you're going to see it again. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is mount up some of these bits and pieces. So included in the kit, oh, I've just realised I've missed a bit out. Included in the kit is this pecan pie. Sorry, I had to think about that. White on one side, pecan pie on the other, and it's very reminiscent of the Spotlight on Nature dies, so I need to dig those out. And if we look at the instructions, it tells us where we need to put tape and where we need to put dimensionals. So this is the one that we're actually doing at the moment. So it tells us that we're going to need tear and tape and we're going to need dimensionals. Now it does come in the kit. You get a little thing of tear and tape, a little thing of dimensionals, but I've got big ones out, so I'm not going to bother with that. And so that tells me that's what I need for number 3. So I've got my pecan pie, my little piece with the cottage on, I've got my little life jacket, 2 oars, I've got this piece here, and I've got this piece here, but what I've neglected to get out is another blue piece. So let me just find that. We need the back of the sign. So that's this piece here that's going to go on there. Okay, so there is actually, so that's number 3. So that's the card that we're making. So that's all those bits, and it tells us we need the little Stampin spot that came in there, which is Peaceful Pine, which is one of the new in colours. I have the big one, so I'm going to use the big one. I tend to save my little ones for, well, I don't really know why I save them, prizes and giveaways, I suppose. And this is the card that we're doing. So let me just fold it over so you can see it properly. So these are the complete instructions to make this card. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we need one of the stamps. Now, it actually has Thanks Dad on it. I'm already going rogue, look. This is the piece that we're going to be stamping on. I'm going to think about that for a minute. So I am going to put dimensionals onto the back of this cottagey bit. They provided in the kit mini dimensionals, but I happen to have big ones on my desk, so I'm going to use big ones, and according to the instructions we need a myriad of dimensionals on the back. Again, tight with my crafting supplies. So I'm going to totally ignore what they're saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are minis, in fairness. Just got my little jar here. I keep all the backs that I've just literally knocked over and spread all over my desk. So I will pick those up in a minute. Okay, so this goes onto this pecan pie circle. There's no right or wrong way, it's a circle. So long as it's the right way up when you get it on the card, we're good. Okay, so that goes on there like that, and then according to the instructions, that has tape on the back. So we just need some tear and tape on the back of that. Again, we don't need a ton of it, although in fairness to them, they are only showing 2 pieces. Okay, so that's our tear and tape, and then that is going to be mounted up on the card. Now, on the instructions, they've actually got us stamping this little grassy thing. And one of the Australian demonstrators I was listening to was calling it cat's tails. And they're not bulrushes, they're sort of grasses, but I suppose cat's tail is quite a good description. Sorry about that, I was just picking up my million dimensionals off the desk. Okay, so that's this sort of grassy thing here. Now they've got us stamping that coming out the bottom there. And they actually show us on the instructions where to stamp it on here. So it's stamped before our circle is put on. So we need to sort of have a think about where we're going to do it, because they have it coming out of the bottom. So sort of there and there, I suppose. Let's ink it up and see what happens. So these are the new magnetic ink pads. So it would appear that the back will magnet onto there to give you a bit of a stand. So we'll give it a go. Now I'm just going to give that a stamp off onto some scrap paper, because I find sometimes the first time you ink up from a new ink pad, it's a bit not quite great. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to have them sticking out from our circle. So our circle's going to go there. So I'll do one there. That's one, yeah, see, that's not stamping great anyway. And we'll do the other one. They've done one higher up and one slightly lower. So we'll have that one there. Okay. Put that to one side. Okay, next what we're going to do, I'm going to pull the back off the tear and tape. And I always find this easier with a pair of scissors. That's one piece. I'm not very good at following instructions. Okay, so that is going to go like that. Just making sure that we get it level, because obviously we're slightly narrower than the card they designed. Okay, then we've got these, which say thanks Dad. Get the right way up. Yep, it's blue one side, white the other, and we've got a white piece to stamp on. Now they've used this little rope stamp. I'm going to bring in a narrower block. I always get in a mess when I use a big block for a small stamp. Okay, so they've used this and they've put thanks Dad. I'm going to see if I can fit the happy birthday on, because I've already made my dad's birthday card for September, so I don't think I really need another one. Okay, so I'm putting this on the back of this same block, which is a little bit naughty. Let's move the rope up there. So because I'm going rogue and stamping a different sentiment, I'm going to do this first. So I've got loads of male friends I send happy birthday cards to, but only one dad. Okay, I'm putting those little bits of rope on there, like that. Okay, let's just give that a clean. I don't happen to have my Stampin' scrub handy, so just pulling out a baby wipe. Okay, I'll pop that on there in case we need that again. Okay, so that then has to go on to the signpost. Now, it's telling me in the instructions that I need dimensionals on the bottom, but tape on the top. So why is that? Ah, that's because the top of it is going to go on here. So, for once I'll listen. Okay, so we need a little bit of tape on the top, because that is going to go over where we've already mounted up our disc there. So tape on the top, nearly put it on the bottom. Okay, and a couple of dimensionals on the bottom, and I will bring mini ones in. I'm not opening the packet because I've already got some out. Okay, so that's that. And then onto that, this bit's got to go, and this bit has tape on the back. So I am actually going to glue it because I've got glue on my desk, but these kits are designed for being able to take away and craft without any additional supplies needed, which is why there is tear and tape in use. Okay, so that's that. So this then goes tape. Scissors. I can never get the back end off this tear and tape without a pair of scissors. I end up pulling up half the tape. That's that. And then I'll take the back ends off the dimensionals. That's that. And then this goes sort of over to one side, partly covering up our grasses, like that. Okay, it's quite nice already. Okay. I'm just cleaning that other block up. Okay, so what do we need to do now? We've got our two oars. Let me close those up. And we've got this piece here. And this piece here says, "You are a lifeline," which is this stamp here. Since you are a lifesaver. Since I've changed this into a birthday card, I don't really want to use that, so I'm going to put that to one side. Okay, so then we need the lifesaver and the life jacket, I should say, and the oars. So this piece here is meant to go across like that, so it looks like the sign is hanging from it. So if we don't use that, our sign is going to be hanging in mid-air, so that could be a little awkward. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Instead of using the "You are a lifesaver," we'll use the "You are an inspiration." Just finding another small block. Helps if you get it level. So we could send somebody a birthday card that's an inspiration to us. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting that straight. It's attaching itself to my nail polish. Now the scissors. Okay. Now the block. Oh, for goodness sake. Let's try lining it up on here. This is why grid paper is useful, because we would quite like to have it straight. Goodness me. Sticky, sticky. Not straight. Good gracious. Okay. I'm just going to go for that. Right, let's hope we can get it straight. You are, oh, let's make sure we've got it all linked up. You are an inspiration. There we go. Now that is meant to go on with tape. You see it gives me a little line here for tape and the dimensionals there for dimensionals. So let's put a little piece of tape. I can think of a few people that are an inspiration that I would send a birthday card to. And this doesn't necessarily, even though it's called Waterfront, it doesn't necessarily have to be a man's card either. Okay, so we've got a little bit of tear and tape on the back of that. Okay. Let's make sure we've got it up the right way. And it's got to look like it's the sign is hanging from it. We need it not to hang over the side of the card. Right, now we've got 2 oars and a life jacket. So we are going for dimensionals, and again it tells us we should have 1 on the, oh, they've actually said tape on the handle and 2 on the paddle end, but I've got mini ones out, so we're going 1 on the handle and 1 on the bottom of the paddle. And the life jacket, that should have 3. Now this life jacket is going at an angle like that, so we just want dimensionals on that corner. Now they're saying to use 3. I don't think we need 3. Are they asking me to put a bit of tape on it? No. Okay, right, so bottom all goes on first, and that goes like that. I've stamped a bit too far over, but it doesn't matter, we can sort that. And then the life jacket, I suppose we had better have another one, otherwise it would just be one dimensional. Holding it on. That is going to go over there like that. And then this other awl is going to cross over the first one. Now I've had to squish things up a little bit because obviously I've cut this down to get it onto a C6, but I'm not, oh goodness me, I'm not intending on handing out the instructions with it, so I think we can get away with it. There we go, we'll cross those over. So there we go. So that's the card as it should be, more or less. I've changed things up a little bit to make it a bit more useful and to make the supplies go further. So I will be back soon with, actually no, we'll do the alternative now. So that is the card as it should be made. Okay, we'll do the alternative one now, if I can remember where I put it. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so the other half of that is a piece of, you're going to laugh at me, I haven't got the other half of that, it's gone in someone's kit. Okay, no, we'll hold that here and I'll come back and I'll do an alternative of one of the other ones in my next video. Okay, so there we go, paper pumpkin, sort of as it should be. Lovely kit. Unfortunately, it's no longer available because it was April and they seem to take forever to get to us in the UK because we're almost on. I'm waiting for my May kit, and pre-order for June goes live on the 10th of June. So, yeah. Anyway, there it is. I'll come back with an alternative in a bit with products you can use. Okay, thanks for watching. Happy stamping.